We're over halfway through spring and it still hasn't seemed to have started yet. The weather doesn't seem to want to warm up this year. Both our maximum and minimum temperatures are averaging 2.1 degrees Celsius lower than usual, and it's mostly cloudy. We've gone from years of El Nino and drought to La Nina, which means a lot of rain. And while it's good to have the water table filled up along with the creeks, water holes, water tanks, as well as the garden well hydrated as we're heading into summer, this part of the country has reached capacity. The ground is fully saturated. When you're homesteading, the weather is always a consideration to your daily life. At this time of year, I look at the weather maps and eagerly seek an upcoming sunny day. They are the days I plan to be outside. Even a cloudy, dry day is good for the more physical jobs, and the cold, rainy days are good for cooking and other indoor activities, like repotting and growing seedlings to bigger pots. With the expected wet weather over the summer season, there's no point trying to grow big tomatoes, so I'm only growing smaller cherry varieties this year. Due to my limited space, the odds are that I'll get more tomatoes this way. I don't know how the chilies will go. I'm hoping for a bigger crop than last year, but they are slow with the lack of light we've been having. But I'll be growing more plants of chilies this year and more varieties too, trying to cover all bases on that front. So we'll see how we go. I think this is about my third batch of starts inside, and the rest have gone out to the greenhouse. I'm really keen to get some of my summer seedlings into the vegetable garden, but the soil isn't quite warm enough yet. But it's later than I usually plant out, and some of my seedlings want to go in the ground. But I know it will be better to be patient and keep them in the glasshouse a little bit longer. I haven't direct sown any veggie seeds in the garden yet either. It really feels like we're on hold, and that suddenly there'll be so much to do at once. We get a sunny day and then it's constant rain. And just when you're over the rain, it gets worse. I can see that plants are drowning. The last of my English lavender have got the root fungus from having wet feet. I've already pulled up about 12 plants already, and these are the last 3 that I haven't pulled up. I thought they might be okay, but they need to be pulled up too. There's no saving them. At least the ground is soft, so they're physically easy to remove. Emotionally, there's a sadness as I grew these plants from cuttings, and this could have finally been an extremely productive year for them. In the vegetable garden, it's still not warm enough to plant out yet, but it's dry enough to get the tomato stakes in the ground and make some room in the garden beds. There's a saying I love: if it happens today, are you ready? While I can't make the sunshine in the middle of spring, I can be ready for when it does arrive. I've still been harvesting winter produce, but it's time to pull the last of the kale and to make room for the zucchinis. Finally, a day with sunshine. I can plant out some of my tomato seedlings. They're ready to go in the ground. Pinching off the bottom leaves of the tomato plant and planting it in deeper than it was in the pot will mean that more roots can grow out of the sides where the leaves were. You can't do this with most plants, but you can with tomatoes. I will be watering them in with a diluted worm tea from the worm farm. This soil is so alive. It's the highest location of the property and it's been built up over the years with compost and mulches, so it doesn't get waterlogged like the other parts of the garden. It has really good drainage, which is good for the plants, and that means my worms don't drown too. I've got the pumpkins going in the perennial garden, in their makeshift raised beds. There's more room in here for them to spread around when they grow. This garden bed needs a bit of work. There are weeds coming through from the paddock next door, and I still haven't finished harvesting all my artichokes, so I will have too many Jerusalem artichokes popping up if I don't get them in time. We're still getting light frosts, so covering them up each evening will keep them protected. It's usually best to plant pumpkins, zucchinis and squash when you've got that third leaf coming up through the middle, the big round one. But I've been waiting so long for mine to grow and it's just been so slow that I can't wait for this to happen. So I'm getting them in the ground because I feel like they'll do better in the ground if I keep them protected each night. Since removing the kale from this bed, I've added homemade compost. My homemade compost has lots of duck and chicken manure in it that's aged, so it should be really nutritious enough to get these zucchinis growing. They've been slow to grow in the glasshouse, so like the pumpkins, I'll be protecting them at night with plastic bottles that I use every year. We're getting a heap more rain and the rain is causing localised flooding. But it's the two creeks running through my small town, either side of Moat Cottage, that we are watching closely. All the runoff from the rain in the hills is flowing down our creeks. All of the towns at the base of the ranges are flooding as the creeks burst their banks and flow into the towns. Our town peaked 5 hours ago and is going down now. It peaked at 5.6 metres. That was at 2:30 a.m. on the 14th of October. It was 7 centimetres less than the big floods of '93. But now all of this water is heading north up the country and will be causing devastation for weeks as it floods farms and properties, roads and towns, big and small. And my love goes out to everyone impacted by them. It's 6 days later and the floodwaters have subsided considerably in my town. The locals have been busy cleaning up and preparing for the next lot of rain that we're supposed to be getting starting tomorrow. We've got at least another 7 days coming. So we're prepared for no power, to be cut off from civilization if the roads are cut off, and for increased floodwaters if that should happen. Hopefully it doesn't and we're lucky like we were this time. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.